Greetings, greetings, greetings. Greetings. Come on into the room. Please click like and share. Greetings. Come on into the space. Greetings, 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 greetings. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, everybody. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, everybody, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Greetings. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Good evening, actually. Okay, so I just want to, I don't want to do that. Hey, 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 everybody. Come on into the room. I am getting us set up. Good morning. So used to saying good morning. Look at that. Good. It's hard to say good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Thank each of you who are here and who are joining this evening. I know that it is a shift from our usual routine, but I thank you as I wanted to remain faithful to my commitment to the Pink Robe Chronicles and to the clearing. It is very important to me, and I want you all to know that you are important to me. And so when I'm able to, even when I'm traveling, if I'm able to shift it, then I will. I was on One Love Business, One Love Festival Business, and Pink Robe Chronicles Business this weekend. Our family traveled to Houston, Texas, and I went live on a couple of the platforms to show the unveiling of the Congresswoman Barbara Jordan monument at the Barbara Jordan Plaza, the Post, there in Houston, Texas. And for 3 years, an artist who is a very good friend of the One Love Festival and has been to the One Love Festival twice now and will be our inaugural artist in residence where we will open this year's festival. And the dates are on June 27th through 29th. We will open this year's festival with an exhibit sponsored by this particular artist and an art gallery in Sweden. And so we are excited about it. And his name is Angilbert Metoyer. And boy, did Angilbert do a wonderful, wonderful rendering. Hold on, y'all. It's getting hot. A wonderful rendering of Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. And so it was phenomenal. As you know, we want to soon expand the One Love Festival to 2 additional markets, of which one of them is Houston. And so shout out to Amazing Radio Station, I think it's 107.5, to the station manager there, Amanda Sapp, to St. John's Church downtown. We had an opportunity, and to Bread for Life, to Monique, who I did not know personally, but we are connected through Facebook, through Pink Robe Chronicles, and I did not know that she was the senior VP for advancement at Bread of Life there at St. John's downtown in Houston, Texas. And so imagine I'm sitting there in the lobby and someone comes out and says, "Hey, I saw you in the documentary God Talk, da 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 da," and I'm just saying, y'all make me feel really, really good, and y'all make my kids hype me up because they like, "Girl, I told you you famous." Anywho, it was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal whirlwind of a weekend. My spouse booked us these very early flights, like we are, still rocking and rolling in our 20s, and my body is feeling it. We had a 5:40 flight leaving. We had a 6 a.m. flight coming back this morning, and we set our alarm to wake up at 3 to be out of the hotel by 3:30 so that we could be on the road to the airport. And believe it or not, we slept through the alarm. We did not wake up until 4:14. We did not leave the hotel until 4:30. And boarding started at 5:20. But praise God, we made it with 10 minutes to spare. And so I am back home giving thanks, heading into this last week of classes. Hallelujah. I have one more piece of travel that requires a flight, and other two more pieces that require just some quick road trips. And then I am hunkered in working on the book and being present. So that is the update for me. Good evening, Sherry and Candace and Glency and Barbara, Yolanda and Angel. Angel, I got your email. The answer is yes. I got it though while I was on travel, so I haven't responded, but the answer is yes. So let me just quickly also say I will come back with more information. But soon to be Dr. Angel Bernice, who is a village keeper, who is a PhD candidate at Boston University School of Theology, has chosen to highlight Pink Robe Chronicles and the Clearing in her dissertation, in showing the ways in which Black women are curating these digital communities as an additional form of mission work and evangelism. And so I have given her permission, and will do more so probably next week, to share a survey with those who will be so kind as to take the survey, and for those who will volunteer to be interviewed, as Pink Robe Chronicles will be a part of her ethnographic study. She is IRB approved, meaning she has received approval from the Institutional Review Board. I think that's it. And y'all, look, we going into perpetuity here, right? So thank you, Angel, for thinking of us, for being present, for being a part. Greetings, Dr. Irene and Natasha, Dr. Michael. Greetings, Dr. Anika Wilson Brown. Listen, the snippets that Brian Harris was sharing from your sermon today, I wanted to be there. Greetings, Dr. Chelsea. Greetings, Takia and Kanita over on YouTube. I appreciate seeing your names. Greetings, Dr. Jamie, Rev Carmen. You have been in my prayers this week. I know it has been trying for you. So you all continue to lift up Reverend Carmen White Yanak, who was ordained by Bishop Carlton Pearson, was a very active member of Higher Dimensions, and remained a devoted mentee and apprentice to Bishop Pearson. And so she has had to withstand, her and her family and other members of her church family and community has had to withstand a lot this week. And admittedly, I only watched one service, and that was the service, Carm, where I saw you. And the rest, I will not and could not and did not, Ashe. And so let's continue to lift her up and pray for her. And all of those. Tamil, hey, Mia Douglas. Greetings, Linda Warner. Leah Burgess, seeing your name is also reminding me for us to lift up Dr. Gay Byron. Lift her up. If you are in the Womanist Listserv, then you understand the request. If you are not, I will just simply say it is imperative. I'm asking you to say her name, prominent, profound Black woman, biblical scholar. And so we say your name, Dr. Gay Byron. And In the words of Natasha Robinson Esquire, who said on Saturday that she was just led to say, don't stop believing in miracles. And then I read a post later that night that was requesting and calling for a miracle. So we are lifting you up. We are lifting Dr. Byron up, Ashe. We are lifting, lifting, lifting. Barbara Burke and Lakeisha Bradshaw, Easter greetings. Tamara Summers, greetings, greetings, greetings. And if I have not spoken your name, please charge it to my head and not my heart. As you know, sometimes I don't catch every name. Just greetings, greetings, greetings. It feels a little different being on in the evening. It feels very unfamiliar, and yet I am here. We are here together. I would invite you to listen to a text that I want to read in your hearing. And as always, hey Grace, how you doing? TT's great, 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 beautiful, brilliant niece. Greetings, greetings, greetings. I'm reading from the lectionary coming from Isaiah chapter 64. Isaiah chapter 64. Yeah, I was going to say something, but listen for a word. Oh, that you would tear open the heavens and come down so that the mountains would quake at your presence, as when fire kindles brushwood and the fire causes water to boil, to make your name known to your adversaries, so that the nations might tremble at your presence. When you did awesome deeds that we did not expect, you came down. The mountains quaked at your presence. And from ages past, no one has heard, no ear has perceived, no eye has seen any God besides you, who works for those who wait for him. Does that text sound familiar? It should. You meet those who gladly do right, those who remember you in your ways. But you were angry and we sinned, and because you hid yourself, we transgressed. We have all become like one who is unclean, and all our righteous deeds are like a filthy cloth. We all fade like a leaf, and our iniquities, our sins, and our iniquities, like the wind, take us away. There is no one who calls on your name or attempts to take hold of you. For you have hidden your face from us and have delivered us into the hand of our iniquity. Yet, O Lord, you are our parent, and we are the clay. You are the potter. We are all the work of your hand. Do not exceedingly be angry, O Lord, and do not remember iniquity forever. Now consider, we are all your people. Your holy cities become a wilderness, and Zion has become a wilderness. Our holy and beautiful house, where our ancestors praised you, has been burned by fire, and all our pleasant places have become ruins. And after all of this, will you restrain yourself, O Lord? Will you keep silent and punish us so severely? Verse 11, our holy and beautiful house, where our ancestors praised you, has been burned by fire, and all of our pleasant places have become ruins. Friends, village keepers, I want to connect with you around this theme that better days are coming. Better days are coming. Today commences the liturgical season of Advent. Advent, the beginning of the liturgical year in Western Christianity, is a season observed by many Christian denominations. as a time of expectant waiting in preparation for both the celebration of the Nativity of Christ at Christmas and the return of Christ at the second coming. It holds in tension the messiness of the world with the need for faith, hope, joy, peace to intervene. In a Time magazine article entitled, "What Advent Means to Me as a Black Christian," Taylor Harris describes Advent as, quote, "a designated time to sit in the mess and the mystery of what it means to be human, to feel frail and uncertain, sad and disappointed, angry at the imbalance of injustice to healing," end quote. Taylor continues, quote, "We wait for a time when things will be made right. Advent illuminates our grief and makes room for our lament and our wailing." I was reared in the Black Baptist Church in Western Pennsylvania. We were not a high liturgical church. We observed the two Baptist ordinances, and for those of you who are Baptist, you should know what those ordinances are, especially those of you that are licensed and ordained. We observe the two ordinances, not sacraments, ordinances of baptism and the Lord's Supper or communion, along with Christmas and Resurrection Sunday. Admittedly, though, the only space for reflection and lament was often between Lent and Good Friday. Lent, the beginning of Lent, and ending with Good Friday. Hence, I did not grow up having an affinity for the season of Advent. I only came to know it as a student at my United Methodist Seminary. And the truth is that even once I learned about it, I still could not be drawn toward it. I was too tied to chronology, as in Jesus was not really born in December. I thought that this whole idea of the already but the not yet was far too abstract. I couldn't get my mind around it. Yet, as a theologically trained, ordained minister and professor of preaching, in the past years, I've thought it my duty to at least attempt to observe the season during Pink Robe Chronicles. This year, though, has been tragic for many. And I found myself again asking a question that I'd pondered deeply while in seminary. This question: why are Black people Christian? Black Americans, to be exact. Why do we remain beholden to Western Christianity, not African-centered Christianity, but Western Christianity, most visible in fundamental evangelicalism rooted in white supremacy that gives way, come on, Dr. Wilson Brown, to toxic theology resulting in religious trauma? A part of me knows that this question will always be with me. And while I've come to a response that I can live with, one that represents my own reckoning, Advent for some time has been along the same lines, for some time. And so the question that I've been asking then is, what does Advent do for Black folk? How does it alleviate the strife we experience as a result of interlocking systems of oppression? How does it bring balance to jaded and imbalanced merits? How does it chastise apartheid and ethnic cleansing and poverty and gentrification and brutality by law enforcement and vigilantes? Exactly what is it that we are waiting for? Where are the better days for Black and marginalized people? Because all I see is grief. because all I see is pain. The havoc, the havoc is heavy, and the pain is palpable. And like the people in Isaiah 64, we are requesting an intervention. My, my, my. Isaiah 64 is a cry of misery. It is an appeal for mercy. They are highlighting the power of the potter, which is God. And they are asking, God, don't be angry. Don't be angry with us because we did not follow you. They are asking to be rescued. They want God to come down so that the offenders would see that God has not left them. They want God to bring God's wrath. They want a demonstration of divine power that would convince the offenders to end their hostility toward them. They weren't doing right, friends, and as a result, they had been handed over to exile. They were experiencing hardship. They are pleading with God again to come down and to intervene. I don't know about you, but I could use a good intervention right about now. When I consider all that is happening globally, when I consider not only what is happening in the Middle East, but also what is happening in the Sudan, also what is happening in Congo, also what is happening right here domestically. When I consider, when I consider many of the things that I've heard, when I consider my friend, my associate, China Scott, who lost three of her children, including her former spouse, on October 31st in a treacherous car crash in Atlanta. And when I see her post late at night saying, those who grieve never rest, friend, I could use an intervention. When I think about those of my friends and family who are struggling and are in distress as a result of trying to handle family affairs, friend, I can tell you that we are in need of intervention. This intervention, though, this particular intervention that is being requested is as a result of those folk who were not doing what they had agreed to do. So now they are experiencing this pain. This pain is brought on by the consequences of the people's iniquities. Iniquities is another word for sin. Now, y'all know I'm not the kind of sin, hell, brimstone, fire kind of preacher. That's not me. And so simply what I want to invite you to understand as sin is that which separates us from the highest good of God and from the highest good of ourselves. Sin, that the sin that highlights individualism and supremacy. I'm not concerned or don't talk about sin the way many of us that have grown up in some of our Black Christian denominations, whereas sin only focused on our bodies. Come on in here today, that we were prescribed or sin was placed on us. It suggested that we were acting carnally, that we needed to bring our flesh under subjection. This kind of interpretation of sin that policed the bodies of the most vulnerable. I'm not suggesting, I'm not there, so I don't want to trigger you. That's not where I'm going. But what is it that separates us from the highest good of God and the highest good of ourselves? Whatever that is what the iniquity is. Hence, this iniquity prevented the people that had made the covenant with God from operating in their highest good and for having integrity enough to honor the commitment that they made with this God. And so they are experiencing this consequence. They experienced it most deeply as anger and alienation from God. Jesus. What does the text say? I believe the text says, give me 1 second to go back to it. The text says, but hold on, God, you have hidden your face from us. There is no one who calls on your name or attempts to take hold of you, for you have hidden your face from us and have delivered us into the hand of our iniquity. Come on, U.S. You have been delivered into the hand because you've not operated. You've never operated at the highest good of the God of all, only at the highest good of the God of yourself. The God you created, the God you made into an idol, the God you misinterpreted. It has only always and ever will be the way in which you look upon the indigenous. You suggest that they themselves have no God. These folk here are saying that you have hidden your face from us. And then, as if they have recognized the wrong, as if they have recognized the way that they have participated in their own demise, as if they have recognized the pain that exile has caused, as if they have recognized the vast separation from all that they've known, they cry out, "Oh God, we are the clay and you are the potter." And y'all know the song says, "Meld us and mold us and have your own way." Don't be angry, they begin to plead. Don't be angry with us, Lord. And don't remember how we separated ourselves from you forever. Melva, what are you saying? I'm getting a little antsy here because I'm not quite sure where you're going with this. What is it that you are saying about us and iniquity? Friends, I'm inviting you to think collectively here. Part of the problem in our practice of Western Christianity is we are far too concerned about personal piety. We are far too concerned about what must I do to be saved so that Jesus can become, while I'm in the Old Testament, but let me just give this example, so that Jesus can become my Lord and my personal Savior to save me. I get it. I get that when you are on the extreme end, when you are on the extreme end of the stick, extreme short end of the stick, rescue is what you need. Intervention is the only thing that will fix it. But friends, can I tell you here that is not it? It is our concern about the collective if we understand that our realities are mutually linked, if we can actually live the philosophy of Ubuntu and recognize that whatever you're going through, that I am going through, if we can adopt radical communal responsibility, then I trust what I say. If we begin to see each other in one another, come on, Howard Thurman, then every need we have will be met by each other. Come on. So the people are saying, please consider that we are your people, God. Consider that we are your people. Because our holy and beautiful house where our ancestors praised you has been destroyed. They honor the places where their ancestors praised. Hello, somebody. Oh, they don't consider them vile. Oh, they don't consider them, some kind of heretics. They honor the places where their ancestors praised. And so calling on the names of their ancestors or calling for the ancestors, for them they believe, is what will get God's attention. So again, the appeal is for God to intervene so that God will heal them, will heal them. But what do they need to be healed from? They need to be healed from alienation. Jesus, my goodness. I don't know if you've ever been alienated. I don't know if there's any of you who have ever been alienated, who have ever been separated, who've ever had to ride the margin and live there for a while. Who among you has ever been plucked out? Who among you has ever been ostracized? Who among you has ever been pushed to the curb? Who among you has ever been ignored? Who among you, for your thoughts, for your theology, for your witness, for the way that you show up in the world, has been alienated, has been separated? I see you, Dr. Ivory. Who among you, because of that call in you, has been alienated? Being alienated creates a gulf. It creates a wound, and that wound requires healing. And so the people in this text, as a result of their alienation, they are confessing that we need to be healed. And the only way we can be healed is if you intervene. Your intervention will halt the damage that has been done not only by our own iniquities, but by the iniquities of these systems. They want to be restored. But what does restoration have to do with Advent? Oh, my. What does restoration have to do with Advent? Restoration then ushers in ethical and moral redemption. Redemption here then, just stay with me, we going somewhere. Redemption here then is not solely a religious concept, but it is also an ethical and moral concept. It refers to the process of atoning for missteps, of seeking forgiveness and undergoing a positive transformation. It implies a renewal. It implies a moral and spiritual recovery. My goodness, stay with me. Just stay with me. But what does, again, restoration have to do with Advent? Another way for restoration to come through, think about this, is in an economic and financial context. It involves the repurchase or the buying back of financial instruments. This process allows the issuer to retire or eliminate the outstanding securities while we waiting and watching. But it also ushers in growth and transformation on a collective and a personal level. Redemption then can refer to the process of collective and self-improvement, overcoming and transforming our collective for the better. It involves learning from experiences. My goodness, what does it have to do with Advent? Restoration then gives way to rebuilding. We got to walk it back a little bit to what this saving, this Messiah would mean in Judaism. That it would call forth that Advent really is an invitation to Afrofuturism. Yeah. That if in Judaism, that the Messiah in Jewish tradition is a future end time figure, another word for end time is eschatological, is a future eschatological or end time figure who is expected to fulfill the roles of restoring Israel, rebuilding the temple, and or world peace. Well, Melva, you still have not answered the questions. I still am not clear on exactly what you mean. The people in this text need intervention because they are feeling hopeless. They need a restoration of hope. They need to be restored, refueled in hope. And I don't know about you, but I've been feeling mighty hopeless. Not necessarily because what is going on in my personal life. I think that parts of my personal life, they are thriving well. But it is who we are as a collective that tends to make me feel hopeless. It is what I watched you all talk about as whomever the person is who officiated one of Bishop Pearson's memorial services that makes me feel hopeless. It is the fact that Bishop Yvette Flunder and the Fellowship for Affirming Ministries had to stand on their own ethic and moral security and grounding and to resist going and or responding in order to adhere to the wishes of Bishop Pearson. Oh, friends, it makes me feel hopeless. I wonder, where are we? Who are we? Where are we coming from? What are we doing when I see these happenings, when I hear these stories, when I hear the cries of daughters to mothers? What in the world, God, why are you not intervening? And then I'm drawn back to this notion of Advent, this idea of anticipating, this idea of preparing. What is it that we are preparing for? Well, the gospel text for this reading in the lectionary at the very end of the Matthew text in the gospel portion of this reading, it tells the people, don't go to sleep. Stay woke. As you are searching for hope so that you don't miss it, you need to stay woke. Because what happens when we are asleep? When we sleep, in this sense, we become unaware of the signs of Christ's reform and miss the opportunity to be prepared for his coming. Listen, I don't use this kind of language. I don't talk this way. I don't interpret it in this way. I am very present. I am very here. And I'm only reciting Christ because that's what the text is reciting. That is what the text is recalling. And so I'm coming back to again, what is Advent for Black folk and for marginalized folk? What is the worth of it and the value? What does it mean for us to wait when we have been spending millennia waiting for rescue, waiting for respite, waiting for justice, waiting for the tables to be turned, waiting for the casket to be opened? What does it mean in this season that I am yet again being asked to wait? And the Spirit said to me in a voice that was much like my own, that the heaviness of the times has made you sleepy. Listen, it has made you lethargic. It has made you cynical. It has anesthetized you. It has numbed you. You have limited feeling. You've been exposed to the extremities of injustice. You have become indifferent, and yet there is pain. You have become indifferent. And so, because of that, you will miss. You will miss the sign of the return. And the Spirit said, now listen, we know that that's not how you speak. We know that that's not even how you understand that. But you will miss the actions, the return, the not yet, the actions of those who come bearing witness in the same name to do justice. You will miss it because you are so overwhelmed with grief. I need you to pick your hope back up. I need you to know that hope will come in the form of better days, whether you believe it or not. Hope is not contingent. Jesus. Hope is not contingent on whether or not you think it will come. Hope comes as it will. Hope shows up. Hope is present whether or not you ever really get it. Hope ushers itself in. And this is what happens if you refuse to stay awake. This is what happens if you become lethargic. You will not know what hope produces. You will not know that hope produces a sound mind. What do you mean, Melva? Well, it is important. It is important for us to be reminded. There's just one example that I want to share with us as we prepare to close and to go on over into the village, go on over here into the clearing. And for those of you who desire to be in the clearing with us, for those of you who want to engage in community with us, for those of you who want to engage in a little talk back to the text, you want to be a part of a community who is not afraid to ask questions, a part of a community that believes that God is great enough and big enough to answer our questions, to expansive enough to love on us through our questions, and calls us, you hear what I say, calls us to actually ask questions. If that is you, then I have posted the link right here in Facebook. If that is you, then I invite you to come on over and to join us. I've also posted the link right here. Just a second. Right here. I'm trying to post it anyway. Right here on YouTube. It's not allowing me to post it now, but give me 1 second. Here we go. Right here, right here. All you have to do is click on that link and join our subscription community. Hit me, let me know you've joined, and I will get you the link and you could come right in and join us on December 1st. I want to close in this way about hope. On December 1st, 1955, my goodness, today, Rosa Parks triggered the Montgomery bus boycott. A seamstress, she refused to give her seat to a white passenger on a city bus. Local laws dictated that African American passengers sat at the back of the bus, while whites sat in front. And if the white section became full, African Americans had to give up their seats in the back. And when Parks refused to move to give her seat to a white rider, she was taken to jail. She was later bailed out by a local civil rights activist leader. The Montgomery bus boycott became a mass protest against the bus system and led to the 1956 U.S. Supreme Court decision declaring that Montgomery's segregation laws on buses were unconstitutional. Walk this thing back up for me. Really, then, Advent is this part of the season that causes us to have to wait. And waiting, y'all, I don't know about you, but I don't like waiting. I don't like waiting. I like to be responded to. I don't always like to wait for direction. I like to be I like to know where I'm going. I like to know what's happening. There's this immediacy that I attribute to being in Western culture, a hurriedness, a way of which we just mow past time. When I sit down at a restaurant, I want the person working there to acknowledge me immediately. When I step in the store, when I get up to the register, I want to be acknowledged immediately. When I ask my children to do something and they're silent, my response is, "Did you hear me? Well, respond to me." I don't like to wait. I remember some years back before I moved to North Carolina. Some of you may remember our village keeper, Andrew Jackson. And Andrew was coming back to Atlanta to visit. And we were sitting in a car outside of a house that Derek and I was hoping to purchase in Atlanta. However, we could not get our financing together. And the house was a good deal. It was a foreclosed situation, but we couldn't get our financing together. And so we lost the opportunity. But in the meantime, while we lost the opportunity, the house, even though it was dilapidated, was still open. And so myself, Derek, and Andrew went over to the house and began to walk through the house. And while we were walking through the house, this grief just came over me so heavily, y'all. And I started to cry. I mean, I was crying, just like not like, but just because the rage was so present, because I thought it was an injustice that I had accrued the amount of debt that I had in student loans, because my folk didn't have access to the kind of money that would send me to college. So I had to figure it out on my own. I was upset that I'd been in a position where, even though I had the learning, I'd not had the income. Y'all don't hear me today. I had the degrees, but I didn't have the bank account. I had the knowledge, but I didn't have the capital. And even though I was serving every church, I've never worked on a staff of a church where I was paid. And in all of the spaces where I have been an assistant or an associate, it has always been volunteer. I was angry, y'all. I was angry. I was angry not just for me, but for other folks like me. You don't hear me. I was angry, and I said to Drew, when is it gonna be my turn? When will it be my turn? When will the tables turn for me? If you could be honest, if you've ever asked that question before, if you've ever wondered, now wait a damn minute, now hold up a second, now just one more time, when will it be my turn? When will the door open for me? Because I promised, I said, if it opens for me, when it opens for me, I'm gonna make sure that it opens for others. And I remember Drew looking at me and saying, my sister, you gonna have to wait because it's on the way. Oh, Drew, I don't have the time for these theological hypotheses. I don't have time for this kind of sort of abstract philosophical meanderings. I don't have time for this. I want it tangible, and it needs to be right now. And while we're at it, go ahead and overturn the tables on 400 plus years of injustice that Black folk have experienced. And while we're at it, continue to turn the tables on the way in which LGBT plus folk have continued to experience injustice. And while we're at it, go ahead and make sure that you speak to the sexism and the classism and the ageism. And while we're at it, go ahead and dismantle these unjust systems. When will it be our time? I don't have time for hope. I don't have time to search for hope. I don't have time. And one day, Drew had come to North Carolina to visit us, and we were sitting in our backyard drinking a glass of wine. Some of the fellas were smoking their cigars, The fire pits were going. And I was sitting back in a chair, had my feet crossed, and my head was just kind of laying back like this. And Drew said, "Hey, and Drew said, "Hey, sis." I said, "Yes." He said, "I think your time has come." I said, "Say what?" He said, "I think your time has come." I said, what you mean?" He said, "You remember you sat, we stood in that house that you were frustrated because you didn't get. You remember you stood there angry, seething. You remember," he said, "just look around you." He said, "I think your time has come." He said, "But you don't really recognize it because you've just been moving forward. Something clicked in you where you knew that you couldn't stay where you were. You knew that it would eat you up. What is the moment?" It's like, what was the moment for Rosa when she said, "Not today," even though it was something that she had been preparing for. There was no way in her mind that she said, "When I wake up on November 30th, on December 1st, I'm doing it this day." But guess what, y'all? In 381 days after she did not get off the bus, hope showed up. And that's all I simply want to say to us, that better days come whether or not we can see them. Better days come whether or not we can feel them. It is not contingent on what we feel. It is not contingent on what we see. So what good is Advent for Black people? Advent is an invitation for Afrofuturism. Advent gives us the opportunity to see ourselves into the future. Advent gives us the opportunity to acknowledge that we have the ability to future ourselves, our collective, and our community. Just as we remember December 1st, 1955, it helps us to recognize that there is also 381 days later when the Supreme Court rules that segregation on the buses is not okay. And that is simply what I want to leave you with tonight, that better days are here. That even as we wait in this liminal space of not here and not there, even as we muck and as we sit and slop through the muck and the mire that is the messiness of this world, that is the messiness of this world, that is the messiness of world government and world politics, even though we do this, I just want to remind you that we do it in expectation and anticipation, that hope comes whether we feel it, whether we see it or not, that it is on the way. It didn't only rest in Jesus, but it rests in each one of us who say that we are followers. It rests in our ability to live out the call in the same way. So we celebrate the coming into the world. Sometimes Christians spend too much time at his going out. But this is a celebration, not chronologically, but absolutely symbolically, of truth coming into the world. It's going to show up. It's going to be here. And you know what I miss? I miss being able to play music over live streams. But I'm going to take this into the clearing. And I'm going to invite you all to come on over to the clearing. I'm feeling, Spirit. Yeah. Ah, my goodness. I'm feeling away. I'm feeling away. I'm feeling there's someone who just needs to be in community tonight because you have reached capacity. And if that is you, I want you to go ahead and inbox me right now so that I could give you the link. Not the link to pay to become a subscriber, but I just want to bless just a few people. I just get the urgency to just come for today. To just come for today, to be in community, to talk back that that the messiness is overtaking you. And while the clearing is not therapy, it is not a space where we are going to analyze you clinically, but it is an opportunity to talk back to the text and to be present. And so if that is you, I invite, if I'm speaking to you, if the Spirit is speaking to you, I invite you to just hit me up in the inbox. Lori Person Baynard, that is you. Ashe. Okay, let me try to get to you right now. My goodness, my goodness. Ooh, hope is on the way. Better days, friends. Better days, friends. Better days, friends, are coming. Lori, send me an inbox on Messenger. Better days, friend. I feel you, Holy Ghost. Yeah. Better days, better days, better days, better days, better days. My God, today. My goodness, today. My goodness, today. Better days are coming. Ashe, let's just sit with it for a second. Let's just sit with it for a second. Sit with it, sit with it, sit with it. Ashe. Better days are coming. All right, all right. Just give me a second. Ah, my. I feel the move. I feel the move. Yes. Better days. 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 Ashe. Ashe. So y'all, until we see one another again, y'all go ahead and listen to that. Better days are coming. Until we see one another again, we heading on over to